Hello, and welcome to another Slimy Reviews. This time, as you can probably see by the length of the video, I'm not doing a 2-minute review, which I would like to do. There's a very good reason to it, that I will explain at the end of the video. But until then, let's get on with the review. Risk of Rain 2, developed by Hopo Games, who are behind the games Risk of Rain and Deadbolt, which are both extremely good games that I highly recommend you pick up. Risk of Rain 2 is a third-person shooter roguelike where you select one of 11 survivors, more with mods, with the goal of answering a distress beacon on a planet that doesn't show up on any star shards. While we're talking about survivors, each survivor has their own sets of skills. Skills you can switch out for others, which will change the way you play certain characters. How you unlock the skills are tied to challenges like charge the first stage teleporter before the timer hits 5 minutes. Some of the skills changes the survivor more than others. So, once you pick your character and loadout, you are now ready to be sent down to an uncharted planet. Almost immediately after landing, you end up being attacked by the creatures that live on this planet. So, you would do what any rational human being would do. You defend yourself, getting stronger in return. How do you get stronger, you ask? Well, by either leveling up by killing the creatures and earning XP, or items that can be found in chests that you use money for to open. Money that you get from killing things. And here, you're introduced to a big mechanic of the game, the randomness of the items. There are a total of 102 items that give you passive buffs and 31 equipment items that needs to be activated whenever you feel like it. Some items are better than others, and some items are better on some survivors than others. Take the bustling fungus, for example. After you stand still for a certain amount of time, it will create a healing zone that will heal you for a percentage of your max health. The more bustling fungus you pick up, the more it will heal, and the bigger the circle will be. Sounds alright, okay? But on the survivor engineer, it is incredibly strong, because you can throw out a turret that is stationary, and they will just have a healing zone where you can just stand and not die. Mix that with a legendary item that you can find, and you will kill everything on the map. Unlike other popular roguelike games like Binding of Isaac, Risk of Rain's items are all, with a very few exceptions, a good thing to pick up. They're all helpful in some way. When it comes to items, there are different categories of items. You have white, green, red, yellow, and blue. White is the most common, green is uncommon, red is legendary, yellow is boss items, and blue is lunar items. Just because some items are common doesn't mean that they're bad or worse. Take the soldier syringe, for example. It increases your attack speed by 15%, and if you stack enough of them, you will later attack at Mach 5. I mentioned that red items are legendary. To give an example of how rare they are, from a small chest, or the most common chest that you'll find, it is a 1% chance for it to drop. There are other ways of receiving red items, guaranteed red items that is, such as killing a hidden boss or legendary chests. There's a lot more to talk about when it comes to the items in this game, but I'll leave something for you to figure out for yourself, because that's the whole fun of it. There are different stages when it comes to Risk of Rain, and the goal of each stage is to find the teleporter, activate it, charge up the teleporter, and teleport to the next stage. When activated, one of 11 bosses will spawn. Some bosses can only spawn on certain stages, which there are 11 of, not counting hidden realms, and after the boss has been killed, they will drop a green or a yellow item. After that, you stay inside the circle to charge the teleporter, after which you teleport to the next stage. Now, I've told you the premise of the game. Sounds pretty easy, right? Well, the game is pretty unforgiving. When I first picked the game up, which was on release date, I got slapped silly. It took me 3 or 4 tries to get past the first stage. The longer you play, the harder the game gets, because the enemy scales with time and level. Take too long, you'll fall behind the scaling, and you will be slapped. Depending on the difficulty you're playing on, the scaling might be harsh or non-existent. So I've mentioned how many items and how many survivors there are, but everything isn't unlocked from the beginning. You need to unlock them. Here's another big part of the game. You have challenges that you have to complete to unlock items, survivors, and skills. For example, one of my favorite survivors, Bandit, is unlocked by completing the 3rd teleporter event without dying. And this is one of the easy survivors to unlock. I won't mention all challenges for all items and survivors, because that would take too long and I don't have patience for that. Just know that some survivors and items are easier to unlock than others. Each stage in this game is so well designed and with an extremely good soundtrack by the same composer from Risk of Rain 1 and Deadbolt, Chris
Χριστοδούλου.
That. The evolution from Risk of Rain 1 and Deadbolt to this game is incredible. It sounds so much bigger, fuller, there's a lot more emotions behind it. Even if you're not a fan of the game itself, I very much recommend buying the soundtrack on Bandcamp. It's only €5, and it's worth much more than that. The same can be said about the game. Looking at Risk of Rain 1 being a 2D side-scroller with pixel art, and now looking at Risk of Rain 2, the step up is huge for such a small studio. But with the success of Risk of Rain 2, and 1 for that matter, I hope it will bring them good things with future projects. For a small conclusion here, Risk of Rain 2 is a great game. Controls are smooth and not complicated, very easy to pick up on. You have a wide variety of characters and builds to pick from, and even then you can always try out something new, and you never know if it'll be good or not. Stages are easy to navigate and well designed, soundtrack is incredible, and it's very easy to lose track of time, even though there's always a timer going. When the game first came out, it was pretty hard to find the teleporter, but that was very quickly fixed and addressed. So they're listening to their community, which is a very good thing. So, here we are at the end of this review that I feel was a bit all over the place, but I hope it made some sense. In the beginning, I said there was a reason behind this format, that it's not a 2-minute review like I would like to make my reviews, and I would explain why. The story isn't happy by any stretch of the imagination, but it's necessary to tell it. Well, this story takes us back to the beginning of 2020. A group of friends that I have, lag, ship goes sink, and fire, had a campaign together, which was streamed over on Lag's Twitch. It was his first time going through the game Divinity Original Sin 2 by Larian Studios. A game which I, Fire, and Ship really love. I have 600 hours, I think. It is an incredible game. And we were slowly making our way through the game. We made it to chapter 4, which is the last chapter of the game. And one day we all met up in Lag's Discord. But one person didn't show up, which was Fire. Which was a little strange, since he was very excited to play this game with Lag and hear him experience the game for the first time. We pinged him and everything. Usually he answers within like a couple of minutes, but this time he didn't answer, which was a bit odd. We shrugged it off and said like, yeah, he must be busy with something important. A few days go by and still nothing from him. And towards the end of 2020, in December, we were informed of someone finding an obituary for him. On December 4th, he had unfortunately passed away. 21 years of age. And gone. Just like that. Now you might be asking me here, you might be asking yourself, what does this have to do with Risk of Rain 2? Well, I'll tell you. Fire loved Risk of Rain 2. There were days where... There were days where we would play for 5-6 hours, non-stop. I can thank maybe half of my playtime in Risk of Rain 2 to him. It was never a dull moment. We would always experiment with different builds. Just do dumb runs like having the 5 times damage, putting on like all of the artifacts that was in the game. Let's see how far we could make it. Our record was stage 2. After the unfortunate news of his passing, I couldn't touch it. I couldn't touch Risk of Rain for the longest time. And sitting here recording this voiceover for the end of the video is extremely hard and extremely emotional, as you can probably hear. He was able to see the full release of the game, which I'm extremely grateful for. I cannot thank Hoppo Games enough for this wonderful product that brought us together, spending 6-8 hours a day playing until 2-3 a.m. Thank you very much. So there you go. That was the whole reason behind this review. A tribute to my extremely good friend, Fire. Thank you if you stuck around until the end. I hope you're happy wherever you are, Fire. You deserve it. I miss you so fucking much, man. I love you so much, man, and I miss you.